you ever reached out to pet your adorable feline companion only to be met with a swat, a hiss, or a hasty retreat? You're not alone, and more importantly, you're not doing anything wrong. Millions of cat owners around the world experience this same confusing situation, wondering why their beloved pet seems to reject their affection. The truth is, cats are incredibly complex creatures with communication styles that are vastly different from dogs or even humans. And what we perceive as rejection is often just a misunderstanding of their unique language. Understanding why your cat doesn't enjoy petting the way you expect requires us to dive deep into feline psychology, biology, and behavior. Unlike dogs, who were domesticated specifically to work alongside humans and crave our approval, cats essentially domesticated themselves and maintained much of their independent, solitary hunter nature. This fundamental difference means that cats experience touch, social bonding, and physical affection in ways that can seem counterintuitive to us. Throughout this video, we'll explore the fascinating science behind feline behavior, decode the subtle signals your cat is sending you, and provide you with practical strategies to build a deeper, more respectful relationship with your furry friend. By the end of this comprehensive guide, you'll have transformed from a confused cat owner into a feline behavior expert who can read your cat's body language like a book. You'll learn exactly where, when, and how to pet your cat in ways that they'll actually enjoy, understand the neurological reasons behind their sometimes aggressive responses to touch, and discover how to create an environment where your cat feels safe enough to seek out your affection on their own terms. Let's unlock the mystery of feline affection together and help you build the loving relationship with your cat that you've always wanted. Cats possess one of the most sophisticated sensory systems in the animal kingdom, with their skin containing millions of specialized nerve receptors that make them extraordinarily sensitive to touch. Unlike humans, who have relatively uniform touch sensitivity across our bodies, cats have specific zones where these receptors are densely concentrated, creating areas of heightened sensitivity that can quickly become overstimulating. Their whiskers alone contain proprioceptors that send detailed information directly to their brain about their spatial environment. And similar receptors exist throughout their fur, particularly along their spine, belly, and tail base. When you pet these sensitive areas, you're not just providing a pleasant sensation, you're potentially overwhelming their nervous system with sensory input that can quickly shift from pleasurable to uncomfortable or even painful. The phenomenon known as petting-induced aggression, or overstimulation aggression, is a genuine neurological response, not a personality flaw in your cat. Research has shown that repetitive petting, especially in sensitive areas, can cause a buildup of static electricity in a cat's fur, create skin irritation, or simply overload their sensory processing capabilities. What starts as an enjoyable interaction can cross an invisible threshold where the sensation becomes irritating or threatening to the cat, triggering their natural defensive instincts. This explains why your cat might be purring contentedly one moment and suddenly bite or scratch the next. They're not being malicious or unpredictable. They're responding to a genuine physical discomfort that has exceeded their tolerance level. Understanding this scientific foundation helps us appreciate that when a cat rejects petting, they're often protecting themselves from sensory overload rather than rejecting your affection. Cats have evolved as both predators and prey animals, which means they're hardwired to be constantly vigilant about their physical state and surroundings. Being touched, especially in vulnerable areas like the belly or near the tail, can trigger deep-seated instincts about vulnerability and danger. By recognizing that your cat's nervous system processes touch fundamentally differently than yours, you can begin to approach petting with more empathy and awareness, setting the stage for more successful interactions that respect your cat's biological reality. Learning to read your cat's body language is absolutely essential for understanding when they're open to affection and when they need space. Unlike dogs, whose body language tends to be more obvious and exaggerated, cats communicate through subtle signals that are easy to miss if you don't know what to look for. A cat who wants to be petted will typically approach you directly, make eye contact, and may rub against you, headbutt you, or even knead with their paws. These are all clear invitations for interaction. Their ears will be in a neutral or forward position, their tail will be upright with perhaps a slight curve at the tip, and their body posture will be relaxed and open. Conversely, A cat who doesn't want to be touched will avoid eye contact, position their body away from you, flatten their ears, or tuck their tail close to their body. The concept of feline consent is crucial and often overlooked by well-meaning cat owners who assume that because their cat is present, they want to be touched. In reality, cats operate on a principle of opt-in affection. They need to give clear permission before interaction begins, and they reserve the right to revoke that permission at any moment. Watch for early warning signs that your cat is reaching their limit. Their tail may start twitching or thrashing, their ears might rotate backward or flatten slightly, their skin may ripple along their back, or they might turn their head sharply to look at your hand. These are polite warnings that you should stop immediately before they escalate to more obvious signals like hissing, growling, or using their teeth or claws. Implementing a 3-second rule can dramatically improve your petting interactions with your cat. This technique involves petting your cat for just 3 seconds, then pausing and removing your hand to see if they lean in for more, move away, or remain neutral. If they lean into your hand, headbutt you, or stay positioned for more contact, you can continue with another 3-second interval. If they remain still or move away, they're telling you they've had enough. This method gives your cat agency in the interaction and prevents overstimulation by creating natural breaks where you can assess their comfort level. Over time, this respectful approach builds trust and may actually increase your cat's willingness to engage in longer petting sessions because they learn that you'll always respect their boundaries. Not all areas of a cat's body are created equal when it comes to petting, and understanding these zones can mean the difference between a purring companion and a frustrated feline. The universally safest areas to pet most cats are the cheeks, chin, and the area between the eyes and ears, essentially the head and face region. These areas contain scent glands that cats use to mark their territory and bond with others. So when you pet them here, you're engaging in a naturally pleasurable social behavior that mimics how cats interact with each other. The base of the ears is particularly enjoyable for many cats, and gentle scratching in this area often produces happy squinting, purring, and head pressing against your hand. These zones have fewer of the overstimulation-prone nerve endings, and are also areas where cats can easily see your hand, reducing any element of surprise or threat. The moderate risk zones include the back, shoulders, and sides of the body, which many cats enjoy but which can also become overstimulating relatively quickly. When petting these areas, use long, gentle strokes in the direction of the fur growth rather than against it, and pay close attention to your cat's body language for any signs of tolerance wearing thin. Some cats love having the base of their tail scratched or rubbed, as this is another scent gland location, but others find it intensely overstimulating or even sexually provocative, especially in unneutered cats. The key with these zones is to proceed cautiously, keep sessions shorter, and always watch for those early warning signs we discussed earlier. Individual preferences vary widely, so what works for one cat may not work for another, even within the same household. The absolute no-go zones for most cats include the belly, paws, and tail, beyond the base. The belly is an especially contentious area because when cats roll over and expose their stomach to you, they're typically showing trust and comfort, not necessarily inviting you to rub their belly. This behavior is often misinterpreted by cat owners who are familiar with dogs who do indeed love belly rubs. For cats, the belly is packed with vital organs and represents their most vulnerable area. Touching it can trigger an immediate defensive response involving all 4 clawed feet and possibly teeth. Similarly, the paws contain sensitive pads and the areas between the toes that most cats are protective about, likely because these are crucial for their mobility and hunting. The tail is essentially an extension of the spine with highly sensitive nerve endings, and grabbing, pulling, or petting it, especially near the tip, is uncomfortable or painful for many cats. Every cat is a unique individual with their own personality, preferences, and personal history that shapes how they respond to human touch. Factors such as genetics, early socialization experiences, past trauma, health conditions, and even breed characteristics all play a role in determining your cat's comfort level with petting. Cats who were handled gently and frequently during their critical socialization period, between 2 to 7 weeks of age, typically grow into adults who are more comfortable with human touch, while those who missed this crucial window or had negative experiences may always be more touch-sensitive. Understanding that your cat's behavior isn't arbitrary, but rather the result of complex interactions between nature and nurture helps you approach them with more patience and realistic expectations. Some cats are simply wired to be more aloof or independent, and this is perfectly normal and doesn't reflect any failure on your part as a cat owner. Certain breeds like Siamese, Ragdolls, and Maine Coons were selectively bred for their sociability and often enjoy more handling than breeds like Russian Blues or Norwegian Forest cats, which tend to be more reserved. Additionally, medical issues can dramatically affect a cat's tolerance for touch. Conditions like arthritis, skin allergies, hyperthyroidism, or dental problems can make petting painful even in areas that were previously enjoyable. If your cat's behavior toward petting changes suddenly, especially if they become more aggressive or avoidant, a veterinary checkup should be your first step to rule out underlying health issues that might be causing discomfort. Building or rebuilding trust with a touch-sensitive cat requires patience, consistency, and a willingness to let your cat set the pace. Start by simply sharing space with your cat without any expectation of physical contact. Sit near them while reading or working, talk to them in a soft voice, and offer treats without trying to touch them. Gradually, you can extend a finger for them to sniff, never reaching over or toward them, but letting them come to you, and eventually progress to brief, gentle touches in their preferred areas only when they initiate contact. This process might take weeks or even months, but cats have excellent memories for both positive and negative experiences, so every respectful interaction deposits goodwill into your relationship bank. Some cats may never become lap cats or enjoy extended petting sessions, and accepting this reality while appreciating the affection they do offer on their own terms is part of honoring who they are as individuals. Creating an environment where your cat feels safe and in control is the foundation for more successful petting interactions. This means providing plenty of vertical spaces like cat trees and shelves where your cat can observe from a secure vantage point, ensuring they have escape routes and hiding spots in every room, and maintaining predictable routines around feeding, play, and quiet time. When your cat's basic needs for security, mental stimulation, and physical exercise are met, they're much more likely to seek out social interaction on their own terms. Additionally, engaging in regular interactive play sessions using wand toys helps discharge pent-up energy and hunting instincts, which can reduce irritability and increase your cat's overall tolerance for handling. Positive reinforcement training can work wonders in helping cats develop more positive associations with human touch. Every time your cat allows you to pet them, even briefly, follow up immediately with something they love. A small, high-value treat, a favorite toy, or engaging in their preferred activity. This classical conditioning creates a mental link between being touched and receiving something wonderful, gradually increasing their willingness to engage. You can also practice touch and treat exercises where you touch your cat very briefly in a safe zone, immediately offer a treat, and then give them space. Over multiple sessions, gradually increase the duration and eventually introduce touch in more sensitive areas, always at a pace your cat is comfortable with and always ending on a positive note before they reach their threshold. Recognizing and respecting your cat's communication about their needs will ultimately strengthen your bond far more than forcing affection ever could. Some cats prefer to be near you rather than on you. They might choose to sit next to you on the couch rather than in your lap, and this proximity is their way of showing affection. Others may enjoy being petted only at certain times of day when they're naturally more relaxed, such as after meals or during the evening. Pay attention to these patterns and adjust your expectations accordingly. Additionally, consider alternative ways to bond with your cat that don't involve petting, such as slow blink communication, slowly closing and opening your eyes at them, which signals trust and affection in cat language. Talking to them regularly so they recognize your voice as comforting, or creating food puzzle games that you can enjoy together. Remember that a cat who trusts you enough to sleep near you, follow you from room to room, or bring you their toys is showing profound affection in their own language, even if they don't want to be petted constantly. Understanding why your cat doesn't enjoy petting the way you might expect is not about accepting defeat. It's about gaining valuable insight into the complex, fascinating creature sharing your home. Throughout this comprehensive guide, we've explored the neurological basis for feline touch sensitivity, learned to read the subtle body language signals that indicate consent or discomfort, identified which areas of the body are most and least receptive to touch, acknowledged how individual differences and personal history shape preferences, and discovered practical strategies for building more positive petting interactions. Armed with this knowledge, you're now equipped to approach your cat with greater empathy, respect, and understanding, which will inevitably lead to a deeper, more satisfying relationship for both of you. The key takeaway is that cats are not small dogs or furry humans. They're a unique species with their own communication styles, social needs, and physical sensitivities that we must learn to honor. When we stop imposing our expectations of how affection should look and instead listen to what our cats are telling us they need, something beautiful happens. Trust deepens, stress decreases, and many cats actually become more affectionate because they feel truly seen and respected. Your cat's reluctance to be petted isn't a rejection of you personally. It's simply their way of communicating their boundaries and preferences, which is actually a sign of a healthy cat who feels safe enough to express their needs. Moving forward, commit to being a student of your individual cat's unique language and preferences. Celebrate the small victories. A few seconds of head scratching that they leaned into, a slow blink exchanged across the room, or simply being chosen as the human they want to nap near. Every cat has affection to give. It just might not look exactly like you imagined. By meeting your cat where they are, respecting their autonomy, and finding creative ways to bond that work for both of you, you'll discover that the relationship you build together is even more rewarding than any you could have forced. Your cat has been trying to tell you what they need all along. Now you finally have the tools to listen, understand, and respond in ways that will make both of you happier.